Everyone to the Pembroke Pines City Commission meeting of April 2nd, 2025. Gabriel Fernandez is with us as the clerk. Mr. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Vice Mayor Good.
I'm here.
Commissioner Hernandez.
I'm here.
Commissioner Rodriguez.
Here.
Commissioner Schwartz.
Here.
Mayor Castillo.
Here.
City Manager Dodge.
Here.
City Attorney Gorin.
I'm here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you very much. I would ask you all to rise for the pledge, which will be delivered by the Somerset Academy Band. And after that, please remain standing for the national anthem. Whenever you're ready.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated.
No, please remain standing.
Sorry.
Let's go. On automatic. Wow. That was beautiful. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Announcements of items to be pulled from the agenda.
Presentation number 4 is being pulled, Mayor.
Okay, let's do presentations. And the first one will be recognizing Somerset Academy. This is a proclamation of the City of Pembroke Pines, Florida, Somerset Academy Panther Marching Band. Whereas the Somerset Academy Panther Marching Band was established in August of 2009 by Tatiana Rodriguez, later joined by Color Guard Director Adriana Jimenez, along with instructors Alexis Lee, Kayla Ray, and Andy Gonzalez. And whereas over the years, the Somerset Academy Panther Marching Band cultivated a program known for its high standards and vibrant performances. They won the Class 3A State Marching Band Championships in both 2023 and 2024, received superior ratings from the Florida Band Association, and finished first place at various local competitions. And whereas Through their commitment to excellence in music, discipline, and teamwork, the band has achieved a historic milestone as the first school from Florida ever to perform in the prestigious National Independence Day Parade in Washington, D.C. on July 4th, 2025. And whereas this remarkable achievement brings great pride and honor to Somerset Academy, the city of Pembroke Pines, and the entire state of Florida, showcasing the outstanding talent and dedication of Florida's young musicians on a national stage. And whereas the students, directors, and supporters of the Somerset Academy Panther Marching Band serve as exemplary ambassadors of our state and are deserving of recognition and commendation for their hard work and accomplishments. Now, therefore, I, Angelo Castillo, Mayor of the City of Pembroke Pines, and on behalf of the City Commission, do hereby recognize and congratulate the Somerset Academy Panther Marching Band for making history as the first Florida school to receive this prestigious invitation, and commend them for their outstanding contributions to our community and state. Congratulations. Well done. Commissioner Hernandez, if you'll stay with me, please. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you so very much. Thank you.
This is a special proclamation on the part of Commissioner Michael Hernandez.
I'm not mayor, so I cannot give proclamations. This is a certificate of appreciation, but could I have the police chief come down? I know that you recognized this young man before on your social media platforms, but I also wanted to make sure that you got to come up here, man. This is about you. Come on. So, Mayor Castillo, I don't know if you initiated it, but you told me when I became a commissioner that we can hand out certificates of appreciation to residents of our district. And yes, I knew the Ricchetti family before this. She's a wonderful teacher. But I did not know that her son Jackson, who's on his way to be an Eagle Scout, actually prepared 30 care packages for our police officers in the city of Pembroke Pines. That was a completely volunteer effort for our very well-respected, very admired, and very much appreciated police department. And so I saw that the chief and Amanda from Pines PD put out the social media posts, and I said, they're making me look bad. He lives in my district. I have to recognize him as well. So I'll read this to you very quickly, but it's a certificate of appreciation of the City Commission of the City of Pembroke Pines to Jackson Ricchetti, In my individual capacity as Commissioner of District 4 and on behalf of the residents of District 4, there's 47,000 of us, so just imagine, 47,000 are saying thank you. I take great pride in presenting this certificate of appreciation to you in recognition of your merited contributions and devotion to our city, providing first responder care packages to our police officers as part of you earning the high rank of Eagle Scout for the Boy Scouts of America, and that is presented today, which is the second day of April 2025 in Pembroke Pines, Florida. Thank you for what you did. Congratulations. Is there anything you'd like to say to your family or anybody?
I'd like to say thank you to my mom for helping me get here.
Hold this. You do it.
I'd like to say thank you to my mom for helping me get here.
Thank you. And I know your entire family's here, so we're going to take a photo, but I wanted to thank you again. Chief, did you want to say anything?
Jackson, great job including snacks in those care packages, because cops love snacks.
Okay, you stay here.
You stand here and
Show your.
here. We should also have mom and them after, right?
I think mom should come up. Yeah, mom, as soon as she's done with the photo.
Or everybody.
You guys can come up. You guys come up. Sure, Patty. Yeah, let Patty take it. You got it? Thank you, thanks, welcome. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you. Okay, and then we have one more presentation. Sarah Perry? I met Sarah in my office a couple months ago, and I was just so struck by her story that I invited her to be here. She will present the Aiden Perry Hero Ring Initiative to the City of Pembroke Pines Commissioners and residents in honor of her son, Aiden Perry, who put someone else's safety above his own and made the ultimate sacrifice. Mrs. Perry, the microphone is yours. There's a button there that says speak. If you just press it. You're on.
Good evening, Mayor, Commission. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here tonight. Mayor Castillo, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to come to your city. For those of you who don't know me, I am Aiden's mom. I am the proud mom, 17-year-old Aiden Spencer Perry, who almost 3 years ago, while we were out walking our dog, lost his life when he tried to save the life of someone else. While we were out walking, we witnessed a young driver lose control of his car and ultimately landed into the lake. My son and I ran to the lake to try to offer help. When the driver opened his car door, he called out for help, and my son answered his call for help the only way he could, by jumping in. Unfortunately, when my son jumped in, his head hit a rock, he broke his neck, and my son died instantly. The driver of the car also died in front of me. As you can imagine, my life has been forever changed since that moment. My son was my world. It was he and I against the world. As I stand in front of you today, I'm living my son's legacy. There was nothing available that night that my son could have used. I can't swim. There's nothing I could have done to save my son. That's something that I live with every day. After losing my son, I realized I needed to do something in his honor to make it so that his act that night wasn't in vain. In my son's honor, I've created the Aiden Perry Hero Life Ring Initiative, and it is my goal to get one of these life rings, like you see here, with my son's hero message on there, and every city, by every waterway possible. I'm happy to say that as I stand in front of you tonight, we have almost 500 of the Aiden Perry Hero Life Rings installed. We started off in Broward County. We have spread into Miami-Dade County, Palm Beach County. They're in FSU on their campus. We're supposed to soon be on campus at NSU, and we're spreading. But I'm here today because I would love to bring your city a part of the Aiden Perry Hero Life Ring Initiative. What we do through my foundation, the Aiden Perry Good Samaritan Scholarship Fund, and a partner with Daytrix, I'm able to offer to every city who invites me into their city the first 10 Hero Life Rings to install in your waterways. After that, we have a partnership worked out, so at an at-cost price, you're able to get more with the hopes of getting life rings everywhere possible. Unfortunately, you can't predict where the next accident is going to be, because if you could, I would be there. It's important to be proactive. By having one of our life rings available, the next time there's a water emergency, a good Samaritan like my son won't have to lose their life. So what we do is we have this, our message is throw, don't go. We have one of these signs that are installed on a post by the water. It says throw, don't go. Any first responder will tell you every second counts in a water emergency. By having one of our life rings available, we recommend you first call 911. Our life rings are easy to use, easy to implement, and very cost effective. Even the youngest child or grandma or grandpa can use one of our rings to save a life. My son died a hero. He got the Carnegie Hero Award for what he did. And I stand here in front of you today to continue his works to try to save a life. Mayor Castillo, since I was here and since I spoke to you last time, I have gotten news that our light rings have had 2 rescues recently, one in Oakland Park and one at Markham Park. So it shows you it's happening. You know, we're not always going to hear that they're used because the whole purpose is to have them there and not have to call rescue. But I do have it confirmed from the fire chief. So it tells me that I'm doing the right thing. So I'm here today with the hopes that you will allow me to come into your city to get my son's life rings by your waterways, so that the next time there's a water emergency in your city, your residents and your visitors are safer.
Well, thank you so very, very much, and thank you for everything that you're doing. And I found your story so compelling that I wanted to invite you. And without objection, Mr. Dodge, I would very much like for Mrs. Perry to meet with our fire chief and his staff to go over her program so that he could bring us a recommendation on how best to move forward with it. And I just want to thank you for everything that you're doing, not just in your son's honor, but for so many cities who are benefiting from your service. And I want to thank you for your time here today.
Thank you for the opportunity.
You are making a difference, and your son's memory is very much alive.
Thank you.
So, commissioners, any comment?
Mr. Mayor, if I may just add to the meeting that you're looking with police and fire, I think maybe it might not be a bad idea to maybe include the South Broward Drainage District Executive Director, who, because the South Broward Drainage District manages and owns much of the waterways within our city.
It's a good idea.
And I think it's a great idea to loop them in as well, because your program, by the way, is very, very recognized by the locations that you've already been into, because I've already heard about your program. People say, in a park, oh my gosh, there's a life ring there. And they question it, and in questioning, they learn about your program and the efforts, and they obviously learn about, the sacrifices of your son to do the right thing when it was called upon him, as you stated. So I thank you for bringing this to us, and I think that we have a great opportunity to expand this program here in Pembroke Pines.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very, very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. City Attorney, resolution item number 1.
Thank you, Mayor and Commission. If you will, item number 1 is a proposed resolution. It's a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pembroke Pines, Florida, declaring and accepting the results of the special election held on March 11, 2025. Attached here to is Exhibit A, providing for conflict, providing for severability, providing for effective date. Proposed resolution 2025 R-08 on the floor for consideration. Thank you, Mayor and Commission.
Motion to approve.
Moved by the Vice Mayor. Is there a
Second.
second? Second by Commissioner Hernandez. Discussion. Any from the public? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Show passes unanimously.
For the record,
Thank-
Mayor and Commission, the permanent number for the record is number 3898, 3898. Thank you, Mayor.
The next item is the appointment of the Vice Mayor. Before we accept the motion, Vice Mayor Good, you have done a great job. It has been an honor to work with you as Vice Mayor this past year. I want to thank you for everything that you've done, not just as a commissioner, but as Vice Mayor, and outstanding. I think this was your second, well, third time around as Vice Mayor. Can you remember?
I believe it's my third time.
The third time.
Thank you, so.
And
It's a great honor.
Each time you've done a great job, and this one was no exception. And we all thank you very much for your service.
And thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Can we have a motion for the next Vice Mayor?
It would be my privilege to make a motion to have Commissioner Michael Hernandez as the Vice Mayor for 25-26.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Any from the public? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much, Vice Mayor. It's time to move chairs.
I have so much to thank you.
The only problem is we're wearing the same shirt, and I don't like sitting next to you because of that.
Because we're in the band.
That wasn't planned.
Okay. Assignments. So, Vice Mayor Hernandez, we have started a tradition here that as Vice Mayor, you would be serving as our official delegate to the Miramar Pembroke Pines Chamber of Commerce. In addition, you've been instrumental assisting, especially with me. We've all had a hand in it with the legislative agenda, and I would ask if you would to continue serving in that capacity. And I also know that your white paper on communications for the city of Pembroke Pines is coming soon. Do you have a sense of when that might be presented?
I believe next meeting.
Okay. I know that you've been working hard on it, and some of the suggestions have already taken place, and I very much appreciate it. Vice Mayor Good, you've been serving as the city's representative to the Metropolitan Planning Organization now for quite a while, and you're doing a great job. You go to the meetings, you provide us with important information. I want to thank you for your service there. Commissioner Rodriguez, I know that you have been serving as our state representative to the Florida League of Cities. I want to thank you for the work that you're doing there. I know that you've hit the ground running with the state, and I also know that you're the voting delegate for the state's financial services. What is it called, Charlie? The League of Cities Financial Services responsibilities. That program that they have that we participate in. You're the city's assigned voting delegate for that. Mr. Schwartz, your position was to serve us at the Broward League of Cities, and also to do the Raising Positive Children program. These are commitments you made and that you had asked for. I have a document that I'd like to distribute. This is an attendance sheet for the Broward League of Cities meetings. And And unfortunately, Commissioner, it shows that you have not attended any of the meetings during the past year.
That's not accurate, Mayor.
Okay,
I mean,
so,
what you have is a paper that indicates that, but that's not the case.
okay, so I called and asked the executive director, who said that this was correct. I spoke to the president, who you'll note is there. She doesn't recall seeing you, and there were no excused absences. So, Commissioner Rodriguez is the alternate to the Broward League of Cities. Commissioner, were you called by Commissioner Schwartz at any time, or anybody at the office, to say that you needed to show up because Commissioner wasn't available?
No.
Okay. At our meetings, you have been asked, there's a section in the agenda where you have the opportunity to explain to us what's going on at the Broward League. Some important things have been going on there, not the least of which is the MPO handover to cities, the trash and recycling agenda, and other issues. And it appears that for the last year, we have not had a voting delegate on the Broward League.
Again, Mayor, the record that you have is inaccurate.
Okay, so what we're going to do, Mr. Attorney, you're City Attorney, you're also the lawyer for the Broward League of Cities, correct?
Our law firm serves as the general counsel for the Broward League of Cities.
Do you recall seeing Commissioner Schwartz at any of the meetings?
I would have to look in my notes, but to the extent that there is a roster in the sign-in sheet, that's a fact.
Okay, I would like you to come back at our next meetings and, as our city attorney, and please audit this. The commissioner disputes this. So
Yeah, Mayor,
let's,
Mayor,
hold on. So let's,
City Attorney Hernandez attended meetings in lieu of Mr. Gorin,
okay.
at meetings that I was in.
I think he knows that. So,
Yeah.
so let's audit this, this attendance sheet. How many meetings did you attend?
I'm going to have to check my records. We were supposed to have a meeting here in December that the league canceled. We were supposed to have a meeting in January. The league canceled. There's been, with the new incoming president from Plantation, looking to centralize, because a quorum has been an issue with some of these meetings. So there was, outside of the one that was scheduled and canceled here, all the other meetings were North County, north of 595.
So when I spoke to the president, who's Mayor Felicia Brunson, she
Correct.
said none of the meetings were canceled, and that
Well,
and it shows attendance at all of them. So I think it's important that we sort of audit this and
Mayor,
make sure
Mayor,
that.
I welcome
we're
the
clear.
I welcome the audit
Okay, good.
and whatever scorning that you're attempting to do. But
I'm not scorning.
but-
I'm reading a
but
document,
we
an
know,
attendance
Mayor,
sheet.
Mayor, we know
That's what
that
I'm reading.
we know that the commission's executive assistant, Julie Lukoski, is the one who assigns the calendars. We know that Selly sends the information out. We know that there are the confirmations when emails are sent. Everyone gets the same information.
Right.
I would encourage you to be on that list for us.
Okay.
Mayor Ordus was as a past president of the league.
I appreciate
was
it.
at
but
every
right
meeting.
Right now, we're just talking about this attendance sheet. It says that on the meeting of September 5th, you were absent. On the meeting of November 7th, you were absent. On the meeting of January 9th, you were absent. On the meeting of February 6th, you were absent. And at their most recent meeting of March 6th, you were absent. And you did not request a excused absence, which you could do, and did not inform your colleague that you were there. So according to the League of Cities, a whole year has gone by, and we did not have a voting representative there. That's what they're saying. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt and asking our attorney to do an audit and come back to us at the next meeting so we're clear.
That's
This-
fine.
The
Now,
second item, hold on.
Mayor, do you
Ken?
not, how do you go about getting an excused absence?
You call the executive director and you ask for one. And
That's it?
that's it.
Okay.
And I have to tell you that for someone who's been here now going on, 16 years at the end of this, you should know that because you've been the alternate several times.
Right, and we've never had the issue with alternates not being informed whenever Vice Mayor
I-
Seipel.
Sir, when I was the alternate, I knew when the meetings were, and in fact, I went. So, okay. The second thing is, you asked for to take the lead role in the Raising Positive Children
Yes,
item. There were no meetings held of Raising Positive Children during the last year. There is
Sir.
a meeting coming up in April. However, that is something that happened every 3 months.
sir.
And because of that, I was just told by the city manager that the schools have decided that they don't want a commissioner there to do that anymore. They just want it to be a school event. And so we haven't had a Raising Positive Children event in the last year. And so,
May I ask Mr. Bonilla to come down, please? Because whatever's happening here isn't happening. Mr. Bonilla and I, and Mr. Castellanos, who doesn't have the benefit of being here tonight, would have, had you asked, sir, they did not want to do an October event. They wanted to do an annual event because, speakers, please correct the record. Getting speakers has been a challenge. Now, I was a part of the meeting, when was that, Jonathan, last month?
That's right.
Right, it was a WebEx meeting,
Yes, sir.
recorded, I believe?
No, it's not recorded.
Okay, well, it's recorded in your notes, okay? So that was the one meeting that I was requested to attend. This has been a staff-driven initiative, and my role is to MC the event and allow staff to do their job. Am I off at all?
No, sir.
Okay. So, and on the 22nd of this month, I'm looking forward to it. It's a good opportunity to talk about how we're going to have 1,000 people there. It's about managing parent burnt out. Is that correct?
That is correct. That's the title.
Okay. Now, what Mr. Bonilla may not be aware of is I have a list of every event that's occurred over the last 7 years, highlighting the fact that we've never repeated one topic. We've had speakers who have given their time, but this is something that the staff has been wanting to rotate so it doesn't go stale. Am I close to what we're trying to accomplish here? The doctor who's speaking is the first time she's speaking, correct?
That is correct.
We also, when I was April of last year, I met with Mr. Castellanos. Mr. Bonilla was a follow-up conversation about trying to grow the event from just being a charter school event to a county-wide event. And that was the mission. Am I off base, Mr. Bonilla? Was that the goal?
The goal has been always to invite more residents past the city.
Exactly, to grow it. And one of the challenges that we've had in up until this point is we've had some declining attendance unless it was tied to getting parent hours at the charter school. And as such, having attended multiple events, as I'm sure you were, Mayor, you know that the importance of the Raising Positive Children started when Vice Mayor Seipel saw a need to reduce the amount of suicide attempts happening in Broward County.
Let's stick to what
So
the
if
issue is.
if you're asking, were there meetings? Yes. City manager driven city, staff driven. It was brought to me not for the approval, but the organization of the event. So we had decided, Mr. Castellanos and I and Mr. Bonilla, we talked about when in April it should be. And based upon availability for this building, the 22nd is where it was. There was never a plan, ever a plan, to have something in October. It was always going to be the annual event from that point forward because of the some of the challenges that we had in the past. So
Okay, none of that was reported to this commission.
If I didn't report that back, If I didn't report that back, then I'll go ahead and own it, but I didn't think it was a report back to the commission.
Okay.
It was something I had asked for,
Right.
given the lineage that I've had with Vice Mayor Seipel in supporting children. It was a natural fit, and now we're going to have the event in, what's today, in 20 days.
Mr. Dodge, my understanding is that this event occurs every 3 or 4 months, historically?
We had, on an average, about 2 years. So
2 a
for
year?
a school year, it would have been every 3 or 4 months.
Okay, and we haven't had any in the last 2 years. Is there a change at the school asking for there to be less? Because my understanding is that the parents need these hours, and these events have been multiple since the start. Are you aware of any move to do fewer of them?
It was never brought to my attention.
Okay.
That
So-
it should be less.
So could you do me a favor? We're gonna hold off on the appointments to the league until the next meeting, for you to double check and come back to us with that information, and then by that time, Mr. Goring will have had an opportunity to clarify the attendance record, and we'll go from there. All right? Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. You're bringing this matter up about raising positive children. I have had several of my constituents who actually were accustomed to attending those meetings because they're very, very useful, and it also provides a benefit in regards. I think it was mentioned. I can't remember if it was Commissioner Schwartz or you that mentioned the fact that these raising positive children provide a way for some of these parents to mitigate their volunteer hours.
Right.
And these volunteer hours is what my constituents are concerned about, because we are very clear in the application that we provided to the school that is adopted by reference in the charter for the school, that if a parent does not provide the 30 hours of the 30 volunteer hours as is required, they can be removed from the school.
Right. Correct.
And that's a very concerning thing, and that's what they're expressing to me is that issue. And so I did have conversation with our legal expert who does manage our charter school issues, and it was made very clear to me that that these volunteer hours are driven by the city requirement alone. It is not a school board driven issue. It is
Correct.
the city of Pembroke Pines' full and total responsibility to that. And giving consideration for the frequency of what's been happening, we've had a lot of transition, and these programs are not as available as being discussed here because of whatever reason. I'm concerned about some of these parents not being able to meet their hours. And so the question that I'm processing here, is there something that this commission can do to waive, at least for this year, these requirements, these volunteer hour requirements, particularly if parents have a demonstrated regularity and participation. So if they've been coming, and I believe that there is a record, I mean, because people are getting volunteer hours, and it's not just the parent, it's a formula. The formula is what makes this really valuable to these parents. And so they do have record because they do apply it to their volunteer hours. And so if they're regular attendees, I'm asking my colleagues is there something that we can do to consider a waiver for those
Why don't we
folks?
ask the city manager to come back with that at the next regular agenda? Let him take a look at it. I believe volunteer hours are part of our charter, and this
They're
one-
not.
not the city charter, the charter with the schools.
It's specific in that it's not specifically referenced in the charter. It is in our application that gets sort of adopted by reference in the charter.
Okay, why don't we
Which
let
means that
the-
there's a lot of flexibility.
Without getting into an item that isn't agended, why don't we ask the city manager to come back and give us some background on that during his commission comments at the next city commission meeting, and he can update us on the volunteer requirements, and maybe the city attorney can give us some clarity on the legality of it all and what we can do to deal with that or what have you. I can only tell you that both of my kids, like yours, and Commissioner Schwartz's, went from first grade through 12th grade in the Pembroke Pines Charter Schools. And we met our volunteer requirement each and every year, as did every other parent that I recall going there. However, I'm open, I think we're all open to revisiting anything. But why don't we give the city manager an opportunity to come back to us and talk about it?
And that's fair enough.
Yeah.
And at the
Mayor.
time that we had our kids going, we didn't have these program opportunities.
Right.
And we made them very obvious.
And I think it's important to create
Yeah.
these program
Yeah.
opportunities, because it's not just earning the hours at these events. Being a parent is the most important job any of us will ever have. The most important title that any of us will ever have is parent. And it doesn't come with an owner's manual. It doesn't come with any direction. It doesn't come with any, you sort of deal with it based on what life experience and what you can sort of absorb from the atmosphere. And these programs at a troubling time have been very, very good for the people who go. And I think it's important that we have them often. And if we can invite other folks to join in, fine. But they have been organized historically by this commission in partnership with the schools. Going forward, Mr. Dodge has made it clear it's only going to be a school event, and I'm okay with that. But still, I think that it's important that even as the politics is taken out of it, that we do all that we can to make sure that there are enough volunteer opportunities there for the parents. Charter schools were created on the basis of parent involvement in the school. So let's give him a chance to look at that. You raised a good point. The city attorney can assist with some of the legalities, and we'll have a fuller discussion at the next meeting.
Mayor, allow me to follow up on Commissioner Good's point, please. All right, so I'm trying to bifurcate the hours versus what curried this discussion was the number of Raising Positive Children events. So during COVID, we had 2 virtuals. Parents were able to sign in and get their hours that way, right? I have an email, which I'm more than happy to share with all of you, with the 15 events that we've had and the dates of all of those events. Again, traditionally it was always in October and around April. But with respect to the hours, a couple meetings ago I pressed really hard to get the golf tournament for this exact reason.
Yeah.
And thank God we haven't on May 2nd.
It's happening in May, but that wasn't my assignment. That's a staff assignment. We're here talking about
Raising Positive Children. Sir, Raising Positive Children has always been staff. Now, if Vice Mayor Seipel...
And that's why it's not going to be an assignment anymore.
If Vice Mayor Seipel, if it's your belief that it was her event, no. She supported the event just as I'm supporting.
All right.
So, I don't know. There's nothing political...
All I know is we went through a year like we haven't had before where there were no Raising Positive Children events, and Commissioner Good has received concerns about that. I have heard the same concerns from charter parents. So we're gonna move on now.
Last point. Vice Mayor Seipel used to hold, outside of the Raising Positive Children event, a standalone town hall that the public did come to, and that was supporting everything from mental health to the business community. That was separate. That was her thing. Just like when Mayor Castillo had his budget thing. That was his thing. So I don't want you to confuse the two.
No one's
Raising
confusing the two.
positive
No
children
one raised that.
what came out of the need to have a larger conversation with the community. But she continued to have those standalone meetings. The interfaith meetings, standalone meeting.
Commissioner, I'm going to have to cut you off. You're absorbing time now.
I'm always absorbing time,
This is not what
I'm
we.
always
This is
absorbing.
this is not what we're. This is not what the subject is.
I have a short
Commissioner
comment. I
Hernandez.
think we're a little bit
Rodriguez.
in the weeds as to what we are able to provide for these hours, but
Right.
that's total 2 events, maybe another one that I might not know about. But our schools provide a whole host of opportunities, and so
Absolutely.
from the sound of it, we may not be providing those opportunities, but I know, and they're nodding their heads, they do provide, because I've spoken to the oil director, I've spoken to a lot of them on ideas of what they do provide for parents. So when we are looking at those opportunities and that list of opportunities that they did have, there has been way more than what we can provide, whether it be on the Raising Positive Children or the golf event. I don't think putting all of our or a parent putting all their eggs in one basket of doing those 2 events, like how many hours does that actually get you versus what they should be doing regularly and what they have been doing in the past.
And this is why. And this is point well taken. And this is why at the next meeting, the city manager and the city attorney will offer a presentation, and we can discuss it more fully then.
And Mr. Mayor, if I may,
Yeah.
just please ensure that Commissioner Rodriguez is also aware of the formula that's applied. You can actually get all your hours in a single meeting on these things here.
Depending on
And,
family
and,
and
and parents sometimes are time constrained, and these things are at night. And
Right.
it allows them an opportunity. We
So
have
then,
to be
but
thinking
then we have
about.
to be working on diversifying
well,
those opportunities
If
as
we
well.
didn't, if we did not offer this at all, then that would be an understandable statement. But however, we made it that it was regular, and people sort of got adjusted to it.
Right.
And so, and that's all I'm asking.
Yep.
Is that people that got adjusted to it, just like looking at the 1 year, people that were anticipating it never showed up. They have a risk of
All right.
their children. And
All right,
that's all
folks,
I'm
we have
asking.
a long agenda and as queued up as we are, and I thank you all for your enthusiasm on the subject. This will come up at our next meeting, and I'm going to ask that we move on. My assignments have been to go to the U.S. Conference of Mayors. I have been attending all of their meetings, and my other assignments were to do the legislative agenda, and I've been to both Tallahassee and to Washington, D.C. On behalf of the city, and I want to thank again Vice Mayor Hernandez for his assistance with that. And with that, we will move on to our agenda, and if we could, let's revisit, Mr. Dodge, this appointments issue with the Broward League at our next meeting. Okay? Thank you. So, items at the request of the public, are there any?
No items, Mayor.
Okay, thank you very much. Commission Auditor report. Any?
None, Mayor.
Thank you. Appeals of Board Adjustment Decisions.
None, Mayor.
Okay, announcement of committee and board appointments. I am now ready to make my appointments to the Finance, the Citizens Budget Council. And just for a quick background. So this was a concept that I came up with several years ago, and I brought to the City Commission, saying that it would do this city well to have a board, like so many other cities have, that is empowered by and staffed, let us say, by residents, city residents who have a financial background, and that we should open up our books and records to them and show complete transparency. Not merely because they might come up with an idea that's worth pursuing, but also as a sign of public trust. And I did that unabashedly, knowing that this city has for, what is it now, 30 years, received the commendation for budget preparation. This is a city that has never had a financial scandal of any kind whatsoever. This is a city that squeezes a penny until it screams, and understands the value of money, and has always understood the value of money. but also to allow them the opportunity to reflect on our financial practices as a standing board. The last city commission meeting, the last city commission, and I want to thank Vice Commissioner Good for his support of this, but my motion failed to create a standing committee. Much to the chagrin of three, I believe, members, the chagrin, I created it anyway. And what I did was I appointed people from all parts of the city as if it was a city standing commission board. And so I appointed members from Districts 1, Districts 2, Districts 3, and Districts 4. And we met for 2 years. And it was an important opportunity for residents to see the budgets, look at the spending. There was absolutely no barrier between us and them. City manager presented. All of the department heads presented. The chief presented. Both chiefs. Everyone came and presented their budgets, their financial picture, and so forth. It was a great experience. I even learned a number of things that I didn't know. Everyone in the room was better off for it. And I even think the department heads actually enjoyed it. I remember that the original sort of reaction to this was worry, but actually it was a very healthy and a very good conversation. And word started to spread from that committee into the community, which is what we should hope happens with all of our advisory boards, that this step was taken. Now, I made the motion, and this city commission unanimously adopted the board. I have 3 appointees. All 3 are MBAs. The first is Hugo Alvarez. Mr. Alvarez is a seasoned professional in the fields of IT and finance, and he has been a city resident for a very, very long time and has taken an active interest as a community advocate in issues such as the bond issue, which he opposed, and I'm appointing him because of that, in addition to his background, because I'm eager for people to see that the diversity in our city is not just about where we're from or what we look like or who we worship or how we go about doing things, but also viewpoint diversity is important. Brandon Carrero is an MBA. His background is in mortgage and insurance. And a quick vignette about Brandon. When the city, when our city was struggling with, just like the rest of the state, with the high cost of home insurance, he found a statute. You remember, Sam? I do. That I brought to, that no one had ever really even looked at in years. And it almost read like cities might be able to get into the home insurance business. And as scary a prospect as that is, I asked the city attorney to take a look at it. And he called the state insurance board, and they were sort of apoplectic because they were kind of thinking, yeah, that's sort of what it says. Finally, we got to Commissioner Geller, who was a state senator at the time that it was drafted, and he said, no, that wasn't the intent. The intent was for cities to be able to self-insure their own insurance. And that became the death knell to that. And so I never brought it to this board. Of course, such a thing would have required a great deal of study and hiring actuaries and everything else. But at the time, I just felt it was very important that we get the answer to the following question. Can we do it or can't we do it? Brandon heard that question. He heard me mention that question, and he went to work, and he found something that no one else had looked at. And that impressed me. And so I'm appointing him. Magwana Jean is an MBA. She's a banker, and she has lived in Pembroke Shores for a long time. And she's a very, very proud member of our community. And I recall being in a backyard, I think it was Sue Snyder's backyard, when we started talking about the townhomes that they wanted to build there and how this was going to disrupt the community. And slowly we started evolving a plan which, even while I was a commissioner, earned the unanimous approval of the city commission to buy that land off 196th Avenue. And now Mr. Dodge is talking about the possibility of preserving it in a way that might be of value to the city, financial value to the city. Never put a proposition in front of the city manager that doesn't make common sense and also dollars and cents. And we look forward to the evolution of that. And I'm very, very proud to appoint her as well to this finance board. Now, under the ordinance, I'm only required to appoint one person who is steeped in financial knowledge. But I am very, very happy to appoint all three. And Mr. Clerk, if you would, I would like to be at their first meeting, which should be called very, very soon, to kick off their discussion, just to say hello and to welcome them as a commission, as an advisory board. And I'd like to be there present in person so that I can do that. So first, I'm going to invite Mr. Alvarez to please come forward and say a few words. And I want to congratulate you on your appointment to the Citizens Budget Council of Pembroke Pines. There's a button there that says speak. You're on. Your name and address for the record, please.
Hugo Alvarez. I live in Pembroke Falls, 13724 Northwest 18th Street to be precise. And I want to thank you, Mayor Castillo. That was quite an introduction, especially bringing up the bond. And on the bond, I want to congratulate you because you really fought for your ideas. You had all those forums for people to ask you questions, and I think that spoke well of you. I also want to take the opportunity to thank Charles Dodge, because for many, many years you have been at the vanguard of this city. And if what we're going to do is going to have any worthwhile outcome, we need to learn from you. You know how the budget works. I'm sure you have all kinds of ideas that we can bandy about. So I look forward to learning from you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. Mr. Carrero, could you come forward, please? Your name and address for the record, please.
Brandon Carrero, 1571 East Sandpiper Circle, Pembroke Pines, Florida, 33026, Arbor Green. Good evening, Mayor Castillo, City Commissioners, City staff, and fellow residents of Pembroke Pines. As you've heard, my name is Brandon Carrero, and thank you for that introduction. That was really kind of you. I'm truly honored to be appointed to the Citizen Budget Advisory Board. I want to begin by expressing my sincere gratitude again to Mayor Castillo and this commission for placing your trust in me to serve at this important capacity. It's a privilege I do not take lightly, and I'm deeply grateful for the opportunity to give back to a city that has given so much to me and my family. Pembroke Pines, as you know, is more than just a place where we live. It's where we build our lives, raise our families, support one another, and invest in the future. I live here with my incredible wife, Veronica, and three amazing children, Alexa, Lucas, and Olivia. Like many families in our city, we care deeply about the direction Pembroke Pines is headed, from safety and vibrancy of our neighborhoods to the strength of our schools, the quality of our parks, and the excellence of our public services. To me, this appointment is more than just a seat on a board. It's a mission to ensure that every dollar in our city's budget is carefully and thoughtfully invested in ways that reflect our shared values and long-term vision for this community. It's about stewardship, transparency, and responsible growth. I view this role as a bridge between the city government and the residents, ensuring that the budget reflects not only sound fiscal policy and accountability, but also reflects the voices, values, and real needs of our diverse and growing community. But more than that, I bring this to this role the perspective of a father, a neighbor, and a resident who wants to see the city thrive for generations to come. With growth comes great opportunity and also complexity. That's why now more than ever, citizen involvement is essential. I look forward to working alongside my fellow board members and diving into the numbers to help shape a budget that works for everyone, from small business owners and senior citizens to young family members and students. Because I believe that a well-managed budget doesn't just balance the books, it builds the future. Now this appointment reminds me that public service is not just for the elected officials, it's a call that each of us can answer in our own way, in our own time. I'm humbled and honored to be able to do my part in this chapter of Pembroke Pines' story. Thank you again for this appointment, for your leadership, and for your ongoing commitment to the people of this city. I look forward to serving with integrity, thoughtfulness, and a big heart for our community. May God bless you all, and may God continue to bless the city of Pembroke Pines as I humbly accept this appointment. Thank you.
so very, very much. Thank you very much. Magwana Jean.
It's tough to go after him, huh? Thank you very much for having me here. It's a real privilege of the city that I've come to really love. I moved here in 1993 when I had just graduated from Nova University and started my career with Bank of America. For 19 years, I worked as an international banker. And
Can you move the mic a little closer to you?
Yes.
Thank you.
I worked as an international banker, managing countries for Bank of America. And now, for the past 15 years, I've been working with large corporates in all the counties, from Key West all the way to Palm Beach. So it's really, first I have to also say thank you to each of you to have backed me up on my little project. And many times Mayor Castillo stood in line with us at the corners, helping us to gain support of our community. And Mike, congratulations. You're my commissioner. I appreciate all of you, and I believe in One Pembroke Pines, so it's an honor to be part of the advisory board for the citizens of Pembroke Pines and to support each of you as best as we can.
Thank you so very, very much. And with that, Mr. Clerk, if you could, just let's get going with them, and let's get them organized and meeting as quickly as possible. And once again, I'd like to be at their first meeting, so I look forward to that soon.
We'll make sure you're invited, sir.
Thank you very, very much. Items that
Mr. Mayor, before you move
yes,
on,
sir.
may I just point out something?
Yeah.
Maybe, you know, in looking at all these applications, they seem to be inconsistent in terms of the format. If maybe then the city clerk can take a look at it and kind of have them have it brought up to date and make sure that it's the only
Could you take
one
a look?
that's submitted out.
There really should be only one form.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't know whether or not the one that they get when you email and the one that's online might be a little bit dated.
They're
Let's take a look at that, please.
But you have chosen some extremely talented people. I'm so excited to have your input to us. It's absolutely great. Thank you.
I should tell you, it was not easy to do. We had some very, very talented people, and I want them to know that I still have your resumes, and as opportunities come up, we will continue to appoint. But I only had three members to appoint, and I was happy to appoint these
Mayor,
three.
on that point, because you had a tough task to go through the historical data of every application that's ever been submitted. Is there a, do you think it would behoove us to have some administrative policy of how long an application can remain on file before they reapply?
You can bring that up as a commission item at the next agenda.
No, I'm just asking because we've had, to Commissioner Good's point, the inconsistencies may be that there may be some check boxes that aren't available. And so online it is, but again, if they're old applications, we want to make sure that we're following everything that we're supposed to do under the ordinance to make sure that the appointments are done quickly and lawfully.
Mr. Gorin, would you do me a favor and get together with the clerk and at the next meeting, if you could, or the one after that, if you could report back out on your findings on that, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, we have the consent agenda. Commissioners, your consent agenda consists of items 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What is your pleasure?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to pull 6C.
Hold on. 6C
Yes, sir. And I'd like to pull 10.
and item number 10. Anyone else have a pull?
6B and 10.
Anyone else have a pull? Any from the audience? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion for consent items 3, 4, 5, 6A, B, and D, 7, 8, 9, 7, 8, and 9. Is there a motion?
Mayor,
Motion to approve.
Yes.
we also had addendum number 1.
Excuse me,
part
I'm
of
sorry.
consent.
Addendum number 1, I'll read that into the record as part of consent. Motion to approve the premium services agreement between the School Board of Broward County and the City of Pembroke Pines Charter Elementary, Middle, and High Schools, locations 5051, 5081, and 5021 from July 1st, 2025 through July 30th, 2026, and we will add that without objection to consent. Is there a motion on those items?
Motion.
Moved by the Vice Mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Rodriguez. Any discussion? Seeing none. Any from the public? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous, and by a vote, the consent agenda, except for the 2 items pulled, is approved. Item 6C, Commissioner Good.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So item 6C is motion to approve request to advertise solicitations CPS PW-25-07 Polk Building Renovations Phase 2.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by the Vice Mayor. Commissioner Good, you're recognized.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I am, in review of this item, I do recognize that it's to continue with some additional construction, adding space at a facility that's located at the Howard Foreman Human Services Complex, serving some of our staff and many of our contract employees. So I'm not opposed necessarily to the project. I know that, I supported the Phase 1. This is Phase 2. However, when I look at this project, I see that Phase 2 is nearly $5 million in cost. And I don't know that any of this was contemplated or introduced to us during the presentation of our strategic plan. And so, our strategic plan went forward, and now we find ourselves in a situation where we're going to have to reconsider, how we are going to reprioritize and refund some of these very important issues. And I would like to ask my colleagues that we kind of deferred this particular award, considering the fact that it's a $5 million funding level, that we give the city manager an opportunity to see what that $5 million could do if it was reprioritized in some of these other projects that we have presented to the public in our strategic plan as saying that we need them. And so I think this is one of these things we just need to hold back on, and let's reevaluate whether this is truly a priority in consideration of our strategic plan, sir.
Commissioner, I'll recognize your motion in a second. Mr. Dodge?
Mr. Mayor, this project was not part of the strategic plan, nor were there any funds available in the strategic plan. This basically comes under utilities. It's a building that we need space for, not only for the expansion of the services that we provide there, but also as a secondary emergency operations center. And it's important what you're looking at this evening, and I understand the commissioner's concern, but it's simply to move forward to see if we can find out what actual costs are. If in fact funding isn't available, at least we would have the design done. There might be a possibility down the road for grants, and it would be what you consider a shovel-ready project. So my recommendation would be to go out and seek the design for it and to come up with a more definitive number as to what this project may cost. But once again, if you don't do this, those monies are not available for any of the projects that we had in the strategic plan because this all comes under utilities.
Can I just get clarification? Sorry to step in, but Commissioner Good, you mentioned award. This is under advertisements.
Yes.
So I just wanted to clarify that. It's under advertisements.
It's only for
correct?
advertising purposes.
And I don't think that we should be communicating to the public that we're looking at moving forward. When you advertise, you are communicating that you intend to move forward in a project that's going to be $5 million, and I don't think that's the message that we should be sending right now. I think we should be kind of just stepping back a little bit and just truly evaluating the funding sources and what can we do in order to accommodate, our strategic plan and other elements that were brought up through this process about what could cost. What does it cost in order to provide public safety or public health or whatever that may be? I just think we need to step back for right now.
Vice Mayor, is that a motion to defer?
That's a motion to defer this item, sir.
And that would be deferred to a time certain, or that would
Well,
be?
that would be a motion to defer until the city manager has an opportunity to present this item in consideration of all the other strategic plan items that we had talked about being prioritized and presented to us for funding.
Okay, so there's a motion to defer this item. Is there a second?
I'll second. Oh, sorry.
Seconded by the Vice Mayor. Any discussion on, this is not a time certain item, but so
Can we ask,
I believe,
can we ask a question?
I believe if it's not time certain, there can be discussion, or what is the parliamentary rule?
The answer is if you motion to defer would in and of itself, when seconded, there's no debate.
Okay, so there's no debate. All those in favor of the the item, motion to defer, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is passed unanimously, and we will continue with the agenda. So item number 10, Commissioner Good.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Item 10 is motion to approve the minutes of the March 19, 2025 regular commission meeting.
Yes, sir. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by the Vice Mayor. You recognize.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So on page 11, which would be under item 15, and the reference is prior to vote being taken. The statement reads, Vice Mayor Good read the item 15 into the record by title and proposed an amendment to the language in the agreement concerning liability insurance, suggesting it should apply only if the vendor performs services that require pollution liability. And it should read, suggesting the exemption should apply only if the vendor performs services that do not require pollution liability. That was the intent of that conversation, was to allow the exemption in the event that that vendor does not perform any work that does pollution liability. So the change would be add the word exemption between suggesting it,
okay,
and the word do not after in between that require. So it would be that do not require pollution liability.
Yes, sir. Mr. Clerk, do you have any? Are you clear on the Scrivener error?
Yes, Mayor.
Thank you very, very much. Motion is made and seconded. All those in favor?
Discussion?
Oh, is there discussion?
Historically, when I see a Scrivener in the minutes, I'll copy the manager, call the manager, copy the clerk to try to get it corrected before we get to the commission. There are times that it requires commission action to take that. Where I'm struggling with, and I've had conversations with the clerk's office over a period of time, is transcribed minutes versus action minutes versus summarizing, as what Commissioner Good says, the intent of. And I don't think it's in our best interest to put the clerk's office in a position where we are trying to change what they perceived as what it was. I think when we have minutes, should be the vote. So-and-so spoke on the item, so-and-so spoke against the item, so-and-so spoke in favor of the item, and that should be it. We have video. If someone wants to see what happened at the meeting, they can watch the video. But to put the clerk, and I'm not pointing this at all at Commissioner Good, because both the clerk and the deputy clerk know that we've had these discussions about the possibility of it just not reading right. And I don't think it's fair to the staff to have to go through that process. We have a system that does all the closed captioning, that can transcribe a lot of things. The Board of Adjustment, love what you've done with that. Fantastic. Okay? But this summary stuff, it just creates a lot of concern for me that I may have a colleague that doesn't see it the same way. And so now we're discussing amongst ourselves what was the intent of someone's thoughts or someone's words at a prior meeting. And I know the clerk's office is very good about getting it timely, but some of these minutes do take multiple meetings before we see them, and so those thoughts are gone. So I'm just trying to streamline the process.
I appreciate it. The motion in front of us
Mr. Mayor, I
is
am
simply
sorry.
to clarify, the motion in front of us is simply to
I have one
correct
other item.
the information that Commissioner Good provided. That is the only item with respect to minutes in front of us.
Right.
Commissioner Good.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I only have one more item
Yeah.
I'd like to have corrected. So page 19.
Yes.
So we are 6th paragraph down. And again, it speaks to Vice Mayor Good highlighted that the county covers a large area of Pembroke Pines south of 9th Street, including Pines Village. I just like that word including to be revised to within Pines Village, because they don't own anything outside of Pines Village, and it's maybe a little bit misleading that they own more, that their service area is larger than within the Pines Village community.
Without objection. All done?
Yep.
All those in favor, say aye.
Thank you, sir.
Any opposed? Item 10 passes. Thank you very, very much. Ordinances and resolutions, first reading ordinances.
Thank you, Mayor. If I may, with your
Please.
permission, item number 11 is a motion to pass proposed ordinance number 2024-26 on first reading. And for the record, it's a ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pembroke Pines, Florida, amending Title 7 entitled Traffic Code of the City's Code of Ordinances by amending Section 70.99 entitled Penalty to provide for increased fines and applicable surcharges for municipal parking violations, amending Title 9 entitled General Regulations of the City's Code of Ordinances by amending Section 93.99 entitled Penalty to provide for increased fines and applicable surcharges for obstructing a designated fire zone, fire lane, or fire hydrant, providing for codification, providing for conflict severability, and providing for an effective date. Item number 2024-26 on the floor for consideration. Thank you, Mayor.
Who wishes to move the item?
I'll move it.
Moved by the Vice Mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Good. Any discussion on the item?
Yes, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
And I'm in support of it, but I mentioned to the chief, actually on other items, you guys do a wonderful job on social media of pushing out new information on new policies. I know this is just starting and we got a process to go through, but if it is approved, I'd really appreciate that great social media team of yours and others putting out information to educate residents in a very car-centric community to think twice about illegally parking, because I do think that eventually folks are going to see fine increases, and that's going to result in a lot of calls. So it's not a criticism. It's actually saying you guys do a great job. Just I'd appreciate, Mr. Manager, if you all got together when this, if this does pass, to do the same thing that you've been doing for example, for the disabled parking, and the work that you all do to make sure that those who park in those spaces are disabled. So that was my only comment.
Okay, thank you very much. Anything else? Any from the public? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Show passes unanimously.
For the record, Mayor, and for public record, this item will be heard for second and final reading in these chambers on May the 7th of 2025. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Item 12 will be pushed to the next agenda. Reports of the league and the MPO representatives. Commissioner Good.
There has been no meeting as of yet, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
It will be next Thursday.
Maria? Forgive me. Commissioner Rodriguez.
For the league?
Yeah, for the league. State?
No, but I did go to the general meeting with Memorial Healthcare CEO and Nicholas Children's CEO,
Right.
if I'm not mistaken. It was a really interesting conversation, especially because we have so many memorial hospitals within our own areas, and it was a really fruitful discussion, including conversations about them partnering with municipalities on housing, because obviously accessible housing and workforce housing is something that an issue that they also deal with, because their employees might live really, really far away from where they're working. So that was an interesting topic of conversation. Some of the Board of Commissioners were there as well to meet.
Okay. Report to the city manager?
Yes, Mayor, I think it's important at this time that the commissioner could give you some dates toward the end of this month, April, for a visioning session on the budget. We're in the process of finalizing our first draft, and I'd like an opportunity to speak to the commission
Mayor,
about their ideas.
City Manager, we don't have a meeting on the 30th, that Wednesday. We could do it then.
I will be away on the 30th. I am available on the 16th in the afternoon. I am available on the 17th.
You mean before the commission meeting on the 16th?
Correct. I'm available on the 17th in the morning. I'm available anytime on the 18th. That's a Friday. We're starting to get into honor roll season. On Monday the 14th, I'm available after 10 o'clock. The same thing on Tuesday. So 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th are my best days. After that, I'll be away for 2 weeks.
City Manager, how much time do you need?
I would venture to say we wouldn't need more than 2 hours.
Yeah.
No more than?
It's
or
the
at least-
visioning.
No more than 2
No
hours.
more than?
It's the visioning, right?
Yes.
Colleagues, if you don't have any objection, let's do it on the 16th.
But I would prefer budgeting a little bit more time than 2 hours. I was under the understanding that it's not just based on the budget, but what we would like to accomplish as well, unless that's a separate meeting that we're going to also be having for the upcoming fiscal year.
How's 3 o'clock on the 16th sound?
Give me a second.
April 16th?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
I can do 4.
I guess that gives us 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
That's fine. I would like
Is that
all
a
of us to
commission
come in
meeting
with
day?
like our notes
4 o'clock?
ready, so if we're going to
4
have that
o'clock on
kind
the
of discussion.
16th?
That's a commission meeting day?
Yes, because
4
we tend
o'clock?
to go
Okay.
long.
Mr. Clerk, could you do us a favor and make sure that gets scheduled?
Okay.
Do you want to do
Yes, sir.
101 or have it in here so we can roll right into the meeting?
It's up to you, Commission. Normally, we have these informal meetings in a room, sitting around the table. I would be making a basic presentation, and then we would be talking also about items that you asked me to look at as far as the strategic plan. So it would really be broken down into 2 things. So
We can have it here so long as it's recorded, or we can have it in 101 at your direction.
Okay.
So long as the meeting is recorded.
Okay.
Okay.
One
anything
request,
else?
if you could bring those awesome chocolate chip cookies that you guys always bring.
Only chocolate chip?
You can bring whatever the heck else, but chocolate chip.
Right? Mr. Mayor?
Sorry?
And will we be sending an invite to the Budget Committee meeting members?
I think we should. I think we should extend an invitation to our Budget Council
Well, they will also have, once they have an organizational meeting, I would like to meet with them as well to do something very similar to what we're doing with you. But this is your opportunity, this is your vision, so you can see it.
Yeah, but they can be invited to
Absolutely.
to audit the discussion.
Mhm.
Okay, anything else? Manager?
That's it.
Mr. City Attorney?
Thank you, Mayor. No report this evening, but thank you for the opportunity.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
No, wait,
Is there a motion to adjourn? Is there
I
anything
just
else?
have a new, two comments on new business,
Yes.
sorry. I just want to thank staff for having the life skills and career fair this morning. Unfortunately, I had a doctor's appointment I couldn't miss and couldn't attend the event, but I know that the Youth Advisory Board had been working diligently alongside Assistant City Manager Sorensen and other staff on this project, and it looked, as from social media, it looked like the kids had a lot of fun, and it was very impactful because we had a lot of, whether it's in-house vendors or other kind of employees in the area that were there to teach our kids even basic life skills like changing an oil in the car or career opportunities that they might not have known about. So I look forward to having more of those in the future. And then the other thing is that I got a visit from the Area Agency on Aging here at City Hall.
Charlotte.
And from Charlotte. And they have just some incredible opportunities for resources. I'm going to be posting some of this on social media, but if our communications manager can also help put out some of these really incredible resources. I know Jay Schechter over in Human Resources, in Resident Resources, does have a lot of this information available to him already, but if we can get it to the broader community, past our seniors, maybe to reach some of the caretakers that do care for our seniors in home, that would be really interesting because they do have so much more to offer than sometimes what we typically hear about.
Okay, thank
Mr.
you
Mayor,
very, yes, sir.
I would just like to follow up on Commissioner Rodriguez's comments about the life skills. She's absolutely right. I actually got an opportunity to join them this morning, and what an impressive group of youth that we have on our Youth Advisory Committee. I got to tell you, that was probably one of the smartest things we've ever done, is to allow them to create, and got to give it to staff, as well as, and she's no longer here right now, but the executive director for the chambers did a wonderful job, Patty Archer, right, for getting people together, the businesses, to provide those knowledgeable little tidbits. They literally had on-hand stuff. They had a car inside of our Great Hall, and they had an impact gun, and they had kids changing tires. Took them outside, and the fire department were very instrumental in showing them what it's like to be in the heat of things, and showed them how to use a fire extinguisher. These kids don't learn that stuff unless they get the opportunity to do it. And so, Commissioner Rodriguez, you're absolutely right. I think this can absolutely grow, and Ms. Sorensen, you and your staff, particularly Ms. Holly, darn good. So impressed. I left there with such a smile that I shared it all day long about what it is that the City of Pembroke Pines is capable of doing with its youth when you let the youth lead. And you all did a great job guiding that. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Wonderful. So great to hear. Thank you all very, very much. This meeting is adjourned.